Alright, folky dokies, welcome to episode 7 of Let's Play Answer Some Questions, dog. Oh man, I'm like a redneck gangsta here. Yo. Oh man, I should stop sounding like King. Okay, that's not a good thing. Not a good image to portray. Oh well. Anyway, okay, where were we? If you could kill one person, who would you kill? I don't know. I'm sure that somewhere there is one person out there that if I did kill them, it would bring about a lot of good, or prevent a lot of bad, more likely. But I can't think of that person right now. I know he exists. Probably a he. Possibly a she. Maybe. But I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that one. Cookies or noodles? Why do I have to choose? I like cookies. I like noodles. Both. If you could choose to be either Captain Hook or Blackbeard, who would you choose? Well, I believe Blackbeard has both hands, so I'm going to go with him just for that reason. And also, Big Blackbeard is kind of epic, so that's cool. What is your favorite movie of all time? That is a really hard question. There's a lot of movies that would be up there. For instance, any of the original Back to the Future trilogy, the Star Wars trilogy. Well, really the first Back to the Future is the best, but Star Wars trilogy. Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies of all time. There's other examples, but it would most likely be either the first Back to the Future or collectively the original 3 Star Wars. Not the prequels, no way, but the original, yeah. Okay. Those preceding questions were all by Stealth8875, just like from the last video. So, yeah, if any of you are curious. Alright. Mega Shadow 41. Why must humans hate humans even though we are the same species and all of us are built the same physically wise? Since the human species is so intelligent, why can't we realize our ways and forgive? There's actually a lot to talk about in your question, and I can't really do it justice in this very quick drive-by format here. But if I was going to make a very quick, simple answer to this, there's a process called pseudospeciation in which we humans pretty much divide ourselves into separate groups, and we really consider only people within our group to be human, so to speak, and everyone outside that group is inhuman. Pretty much as humans, we first of all scope out things we have in common. Then we look at things that we have opposed to one another, and on the basis of those divisions is largely what the basis for our prejudices and things like skin color. And the thing is, skin color isn't the only thing about race. I mean, if you've ever looked at it like a white person's face and then a black person's face, it's not just that they're different colors, there's different facial structure as well. But that's not really the point. I mean, the point is really just we seize on those differences and we use them instinctively to separate ourselves into different groups, almost as if we were different species. And it's not just in humans, it happens in all forms of animals, especially mammals, where we separate ourselves into social groups. It's pretty much the matter of how we're doing. And when you think about it, humans, we have come a lot further than a lot of animals and primitive man, because a lot of the other great apes will sort themselves into groups of a few dozen, maybe a couple hundred at the most. But us humans, we've gone from little nomadic groups to villages, towns, cities, and now whole states where there are millions of people who we consider as part of our extended group. within the group that you're not allowed to kill, and you're not allowed to do all these things that you used to be able to do with, like, the neighboring tribe. You know, back in, far enough back, people would think nothing of just whacking your neighbor on the head and just taking whatever he had. But we've developed a point where, within this nation state of 300 million people, you can't do such things. Now, will it ever extend to the human species as a whole? I don't think so. I think there's always going to be opposition. I think there's always going to be a need for us to divide among each other. I mean, because that's the way that we improve as a species. Because if we just accepted everybody, no matter what, we would stagnate and probably eventually fall apart. But it's through these divisions that we find out what elements work the best and what elements are not so good. We discard what's not so good, hang on to what's the best, and we improve as a species. So this stuff that might seem so heinous, this division that we have, there's actually a purpose for it. And ultimately, even though everything in excess is bad, a little bit of division, a little bit of violence even, is ultimately good for the human species. Alright. CMB headquarters asks, do you feel sorry for Luigi? No, he had it coming, I guess. Do you think that Yoshi is a horse or a dinosaur? Yoshi is a horse. Raucow says so. It must be true. Do you think that the Sims 3 expansions are really lacking? I don't know. I haven't played The Sims 3, let alone any of the expansions. But then again, the game's only been out 2 years. I'm pretty sure there'll be more. So just be patient. We'll see. And Sonic or Mario? Sentimental choice. I still have to pick Sonic. Mario is freaking awesome, but Sonic was my childhood. I have to pick him. YSU Dragon. Isu Dragon asks, what's your favorite sandwich? Italian hoagie with pepperoni. And the works. Very delicious. Are you going to play more Civ 3 in the future? Says Willie Overland. Yes. Oh man, you're just like the Sims 2 people now, aren't you? Disclaimer, when I say that, I don't mean every Sims 2 person is like that. I just mean, well, you know what I mean. A lot. People tend to nag about when are you doing Project X or Project Y, and it's really my own fault for getting myself into that situation because I really should have just stuck to 1 or 2 things at a time, not done 5, but oh well, my own fault. I have to live with the consequences. Okay, this has 2 thumbs up, so this question must be really good. Alright, let's take a look. Movie Star 42 asks, hey, I have a good question. Oh man, not only do people say it's good, but he himself says it's good. Would you put up a video of all 200 subscribers, all usernames? I'd be really surprised if you did that. That would be cool, I guess, but you're forgetting one factor. I am a lazy ass. I'm sorry. If you want to see who all my subs are, you can click on my channel page, and on there is listed everyone who subscribed to me. Feel free to browse through. I'm not sure why do you want to, but just know that I do appreciate you, and no matter how egotistical I might seem at some time, I really am humbled by all the support that I've gotten from all the fans over the years that I've done this, and I love you guys very much. You make life a little less sucky, and that means more than you know, so I really appreciate it. One Coco Kala 10 asks, do you have any recommendations on any scary games? I don't know. I don't know too much about these horror games. out there. But, yeah, I really don't have any recommendations on any scary games. Unless you're talking about games that are scary in some other unconventional ways. But I really can't even help you there. So, sorry. You're going to have to ask someone else to get some good recommendations. If I gave you recommendations, I'd just be pulling them out of my ass. Alright. Next page. Bad Studios 01 asks, are you in a relationship? No. I'm not with anyone right now, and I've been single for a period of time that's so long that I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but since I'm a very open person, and I don't believe in TMI, too much information personally, I might as well say, it's been 4.5 years. Yes. And to be completely honest, I feel the weight of those 4.5 years at every minute of every day that I exist. And it's quite terrible. I have to admit that. I have to be completely honest. It wouldn't do me or you any good if I lied about that. Okay. Blondier's Banana asks, do you have any siblings? Yes, I mentioned that already. Do you plan on getting Lucy fit? Maybe. Although the fatness is kind of becoming a part of her character, but I wouldn't mind having her work out and become fit in the future. Maybe she should get a Wii Fit. I don't know. Do you have an Xbox? No. I once borrowed an Xbox from a friend back in 07. I played Fable, loved it, but he needed the Xbox back, and eventually he broke it, so that was that for that. I'd definitely be willing to pick up Fable again in the future, though. Very fun game. And if so, do you plan to make video games playthrough? If not, do you plan to get one? Like I said, someday I'd love to play the first Fable game, but like I said, it's not an immediate priority of mine. Do you recommend any games other than the ones that you play or have played? Well, sure, there's a lot of good games out there that I don't necessarily play, but since I don't play them, I can't really give you an educated opinion about them, so I'm just going to not do that. I mean, I'd rather own up to my own ignorance than just pull things out of my ass. At least when it comes to this, you know. Other things, I'm happy to pull stuff out of my ass to answer questions, but, you know. Do you plan to make any other LPs in the near future? Touched on that already. Do you have any pets? And if so, what kind of breed? I unfortunately have no pets. Growing up, my parents didn't like pets too much, so I didn't ever have a dog or a cat or anything like that. All that I had was gerbils. And gerbils aren't that... I mean, they're cool and everything, but they aren't that exciting. But someday, though, if I ever am fortunate enough to get a job where I make enough money to buy my own house and settle down, I'd love to have a dog. I love dogs. I'm a dog kind of guy. I don't know what breed. I really don't. There's tons of good breeds out there that I could choose from, but I don't know. But I definitely want a dog. Very much. What do you do when you aren't working and making videos? Well, I read. I take long bike rides. That's one thing I like to do. I watch internet videos. I watch movies, TV, although less than I used to. Hang out with my friend the paratrooper. We go places. Hang out with Vincent Van Mike. Talk to people online. That kind of stuff. Also, I like to draw a little bit. Just doodle. Whatever. Nothing really major. Also, I write stories and music. Although I really haven't done too much of either in the last 2 or 3 years for whatever reason. Something else to talk about in the Sunplant show at some point, but, you know. And finally, did you base someone of your Sims 2 LPs, anyone's life, on your childhood? I don't think so. If I did, it was only subconscious, because I'm pretty sure these things bubble up, but not intentionally, but maybe in my subconscious.